Oh, damn. Thank you, Dan. Uh, I guess I'm a little brain dead here this morning. Sorry about that. I started to talk about Glenn's question, and Glenn asked me, do you live trade on your students? And kind of fix that with, can they piggyback what we're doing? And I said, yeah, of course, in the green room. We always post and announce. And anyway, you shouldn't piggyback on anybody unless you understand it yourself and make the trade your own. All right, so I started speaking about the Russell and just an incredible move off of the low, because several things, the way the depth that it came back, breaking the trend, the advance that it had already, and to come back to where it is historically doesn't happen very often, and it did this time. And I did speak about this correction bar, the gap down reversal and all that, but thought maybe it'd go sideways yesterday, but no, it gapped up, and it just went up to the topping tail here, the prior high, where it stopped, and where they here 106, 158 and a half or so, backing off from there a little bit. So gapping up close to the highs here. And so it would suggest that today is probably going to be a little bit of a correction day. However, the level of retracement here has to be respected in this particular index. Overall, the monthly is just going sideways now for, well, this is the beginning of October. And no, I didn't want to do that. Wrong chart. Go back here. So we did have this pullback, little pullback here to support, and it came up. And some of you that, if you've been around, you remember this Mr. Schizophrenic classic bull trap move, where this was looking so good as it started to pull back and come up, and then it started to break out and then got slammed right here. So here it is. I'm kind of like looking at what's going on here at a little bit in awe of the craziness of this market, but it is what it is. S&Ps, not quite as bullish a move, more of a consolidation, but still had that corrective type of a bar. And it's up here a little bit. And we'll see if you can get up to that topping tail. The hourly charts look bullish, buyer on the pullback. And this is exactly what we look for in any time frame, is that once it creates this pivot, right? And for those who don't know, it's just simply a bar with three higher lows to the left and right, which means prices went down and they came back up over the course of several hours or several days, and it creates a support point. And if prices are trending up, higher highs and higher lows, when they pull back to the prior pivot low, expect there to be buyers there, and then you match the pattern. You need to say, is there a pattern that begins to happen that suggests that buyers are taking back control again? And bottoming tail, narrow range bar, bottoming tail bar. And in this case, the resistance is right up here, so it doesn't really provide a void, but it's in an uptrend and it's supposed to take it out. So we'll see how far this gets. And then, of course, on the higher time frame, the next one isn't that far away. So the Qs are lagging a bit. They were the winner all the way in technology. Now some money's coming out of it, has been coming out of it. And so it was just an inside day yesterday. And today starts out with a little narrow range day and chopping around. So we just may see, a slowing day today, consolidating yesterday's pretty powerful move in a lot of different indices. And looking at this weekly chart, that measured move scenario isn't totally blown out of the water yet, meaning that it couldn't happen. We'll have to see where this week ends. But yesterday did a long way to neutralizing the potential more bearish scenario. And we'll see how it unfolds here throughout as the month goes. This particular pattern this low right here. And of course that should be green. We should be doing this. Let me move these lines around like that. And come on. I hate crooked lines. God forbid they look like a diagonal trend line. Anyway, so got a little bit of trading range going on there. And pretty wide, whippy little range there. By the way, McGraw, that email that you sent with somebody talking about GAN lines and all that kind of stuff, I didn't know whether to throw up or yell at you for sending it to me. But anyway, I decided to smile and let it go. All right. So trading range going on here, resistance up there, support down here. We'll see if it takes any direction here today. There it is. Possible, as I'm looking at the possible head and shoulders top. Yeah, you never know. It's got to start breaking down and showing some weakness, which, yesterday, I don't know if you caught it or not, but where was it? I guess that's overnight. Yesterday, there was a little pullback, a sell set up there. I think it was on the 2-minute chart right over here. It just started to pull back. I think that's where, and then it made that little W bottom. And this is indicative of bull markets intraday. So you got to be careful when you're going to the smaller time frames, and where they break like that. And let's just look at it on the S&P, because that's what I really was yesterday. It was like right here. And as it started, it made the little top there. And as it started to break, there was this little short that happened. But overall, it was such a bullish overall day that, and you can see like right here where I'm moving it, that was just a pullback within that power move. And then it just took off again. So this looks like it potentially can go higher. Right? It's got nothing to stop it. Well, it could stop anywhere there, but the top of the topping tail is ultimately where the most people, traders, will view that as being, getting that in the right place. Yeah, pretty much got it. That's your reference point there. I am up a little over 100 points here, coming up to the prior pivot high. So pressing the long button here at the open doesn't really make a lot of sense. Coming up into resistance, doesn't make any sense to short it either, not until some pattern forms. We already looked at the Russell, which is also up at resistance there. Bonds are down, of course. Stocks up. And, I pointed this out yesterday. Now, as this is beginning to pull back, right? We've been talking about this here for weeks, that this should be going down here, and it finally broke. So with that being the case, of course, interest rates are going higher. You can see there's the 10-year, and it doesn't have much to stop it from going higher. And well, that's a good thing to see interest rates going up, which means, demand for money. It may not be the big demand now, but the markets anticipate the future. And so during a period of recession or economic concerns of the future, interest rates go down or stay low or stable. So when they start to go up, that's one way of reading the market's view that things are improving, right? Because interest rates go up because of a demand for money. No other real reason. Speculation, demand of money. People are going to borrow for whatever, whatever, houses, business, so on and so forth. So TBT gapped up and just barely cleared this high, and it looks like it can go higher. It's been bottoming out here for months and months. So, as a intermediate term trade, I always say bottoming patterns are treacherous, but like this, come up and they look fantastic and then come back again, whether it's interest rates or any other stock, doesn't matter. And, this is starting to move up, but it's got a bigger, more mature base now, which is a good thing for bottoming patterns. The bigger the base, right? So this certainly looks like it can go higher. And as also said, it probably going to catch the attention of those home building stocks. And they didn't have such a great day yesterday. Norman's asking, trading tools and tactics is still valid for day trading? If you mean the second book that's on the Master Trader website, Norbert, buy it. I don't care what kind of trading you're doing. Buy that book. It's a wealth of information. You cannot find that information anywhere in a book. All right, let's continue. Good sign, oil coming back again, but also coming into resistance. So another piece of information to suggest that while the markets could move up a bit more this morning, they're not going to go up like they did yesterday. I say that with a caveat that anything's possible, but with resistance directly to the left, historically tells us that they're likely to be a quieter day. Gold, slow, but holding up here, still looking for this thing to come back from this breakdown and then go higher. Silver, it's the same story whipping around there, not much to do or say. Transports, again, another positive sign here. Another positive sign that this head and shoulders pattern, it hasn't gotten quite above this pivot yet, but geez, you say close enough for government work, which is to say government work is sloppy. A little bit more, but it again, a lot of retracements. And this is how to use retracements, folks. It's not about fib levels and all that hocus pocus. It's about common sense. They're saying, hey, this came all the way down to support, which was weakness, but now it came all the way back up to resistance, which is strength, which is the definition of a trading range. So who's going to win here? Well, we're looking at the Russell, we're looking at the transports, which have been laggards that are outperforming. There's more information saying that money is rotating into what was weaker and it's starting to become the leaders. So in the end, while the markets can jiggle around like they do, it doesn't suggest to suspect anything terrible, like, giant corrections are going to happen in the market. Bears had their chance and they're losing it here. And I never count them out because you know how I like to call this market Mr. Schizophrenic. I've been bitten a few times, of course. And, this is in a trading range, looking at, spiders here, not a great looking buy setup here, but we'll see how far it gets. It's at resistance and, the cues here, right, up at resistance there. And that tail we mentioned, that's an erroneous. It wasn't quite that high, but it's just an inside day. So the leaders are still lagging there. And so we'll see how that all goes. Internals, of course, I said yesterday that they were close to a sell signal, and breadth certainly did improve. Right? McGraw said that there was like 458 advancers yesterday in the S&P. And I said, oh, that sounds like a top, which sounds counterintuitive, but that's typically what happens near a top, is that breadth gets to the point of being incredibly bullish.
Wait, but why is 458 a big number?
Out of 500.
Oh, I thought it was the whole.
Yeah, he was talking about SPX.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is in a bearish territory. This is close. I thought it would push up, but you see yesterday, sentiment closed just below 0.79. So it's pretty close. And this pattern is supposed to go up, right? And just expand this a little bit. how we look at the charts. This was a pullback. Again, retracement concept here. Deep retracement, back up. Last week was a grinder sideways. It didn't fill the gap, sideways at resistance. And now yesterday, a green bar. It's supposed to go up. Now, if it doesn't, well, we just know we're dealing with more garbage, so to speak. So look, today should be sideways to up based on this pattern. If you remember sometime earlier in the year, we had a scenario, if you remember, and I said at that time, we had a similar pattern to this, and the market didn't go up. And I said, there was this resting period. The market's supposed to go up, and it didn't. And of course, then it pulled back and came back again. But anyway, we don't want to see it go back down here. We're taking too much time. Let me let Dan take it on. And so there's your internals there. All yours, Dan.
Oh, yeah, no, don't worry about me. All our opens are fine, folks. And, we have 18 bullish positions in the swing and options trader. We have 8 of them in the weekly options trader. They're all bullish with the exception of Zoom, which is neutral. We have a condor, out of the money call spread, out of the money put spread. And this is exactly what we want. We just want them to bobble around in a little range, and we make money through time decay and volatility contraction. So I'm not going to go over anything unless you have a question. Oliver is asking about shorting Piton. How much higher can it go? Absolutely not. We talk about trend and trend quality. Last week, we had a session on MT Live, climactic sell setups. And I'll just give you the 2 quick rules, Cliff Note version. We want to see rapid acceleration from the 20. This is controlled. Yes, it's getting farther away from the 20. Yes, that's a fact. But the second component is a bearish reversal. We do not have any semblance of bearish reversal right now. I also think Zoom's going to come back to earth someday. Look at that monthly. I mean, for those of you who took geometry, that's like an 86 degree. If you pull out your protractor, McGraw, you usually have one in your top pocket. Your protractor, that looks like 86 degrees to me. So that it'll come back to earth someday. All right, so that's that. Let me continue. He has a tractor next to him. Yeah, he likes the old John Deere color. Yeah, I like new IPOs. It came down hard, so I would prefer some slopping around or retest. But yeah, I love trading IPOs. Look at this one we got into, and it's actually gapping up for us today. Look at Big C, came back, chopped around, wide range igniting. So we have 2 separate put spreads on this. So that was fantastic. We have another put spread on this other one. It's kind of just dogging it, but we're still at a third to max profit because it ain't going down. Yeah, we'll trade anything that moves. Give me a big pattern, and if it's liquid, we're all over it. PayX 8161. Yeah, I'll just call that flat. Maybe 30-minute high. Tim's asking about KTOS. It sounds like a military stock, if my memory's right. Yeah, we've been trading a lot of these. And they come in different pictures of what the turn is, And then we've had gap reversals, many of them last Friday, with a price void. So sure, yeah, that's a long walk, sure. McGraw put spread also. Folks, tomorrow, we love trading, right? Anything, stocks, options, futures, currencies, commodities. And so tomorrow's MT Live is going to be on on selling 0 DTE credit spreads. It's one of our favorites. But whenever I have a directional setup, it's a candidate for a credit spread. So sure, McGraw, I wouldn't mind selling a $19 whatever put spread if it goes through our checklist. KMB is another one here that I posted pre-market. I like this not only as a directional, but also as a put spread. And y'all subscribers will see it in your Telegram. Yeah, NVIDIA. Yeah, it's in my list over here. So 555. Yeah, and that's a very bullish pre-market. That looks fantastic. So I'm putting that in let me change this to a 5-minute window. NVIDIA looks great. Yes, it does. Paul Kuzma. SFIX, SFIX, it's sloppier. It's slop. I wouldn't mind a put spread under these tails, maybe 27 under Friday's low. But it's too sloppy for me for a directional. I think we can find this a lot better. We entered a bull call debit spread yesterday. I see Home Depot's up 90 cents. I'm watching Debbie's Choice Hotel here, retest of a Climo. Let me continue over here. All right, so that's that. IPOG, gap it down, 11 and change. That's garbage. PPSI, big old gap, looks like a penny stock toy. You're gone. LUV, I like this as I would never swing trade this piece of garbage. Airline, cruise lines, they just aren't ready yet. But this is a 1, 2, 3 from a bear gap negated. So if it takes out yesterday's high, we're going to sell a put spread for next week. That's where you work? Nice. Yeah, my old roommate does too. He's a pilot. Actually, he's furloughed for 2 years voluntarily, whatever. They're paying him half not to work. NBTA, Jake, looks fantastic. Looks fantastic. You got a minor little bear sandwich here, bullish consolidation. Looks fantastic. So that's going in that little window. And just because I say fantastic doesn't mean buy it. It means it passes step 1 of, I think it's a tier 1 setup. And now we put it in a 5-minute window and chill out, see what he does. See what he does. JPM is also garbage, but earnings are coming up, and they also had some gap reversals. If you all, I'm not going to scan banks, but if you all find one that you like, then I wouldn't mind doing a put spread on one of them if we find a good pattern ahead of earnings. Neo's already posted from yesterday. Dio Gracias. Yeah, I like Neo over Friday's high, which is this tail. Aggressive traders can take a half lot over yesterday's high, but yeah, I like it as you wait 5 minutes to run. I like it both as a put spread and a directional. Yeah, we always wait 5 minutes, always to run, and then we'll decide whether we do 5-minute high or we do a pullback in intraday setup. Let's see, I see garbage RCL. They're just garbage. They need more help. Our Oscar Charlie, we're long. Look at that beautiful thing. Now I can move the stop to yesterday's low with today's morning strength, 71.40. See on 15-minute charts, workhorse, but